Welcome, honeys in training, and all of those who love us. I'm Felicia Pride, writer, filmmaker, and founder of media and production company Honey Child, where we tell stories that speak to Black women of a certain age with love. And you are tuning into one of our things, It's Good Over Here. It's Good Over Here is your ticket to the delicious adventures in Honeyland. It's a celebration of how good it can get on the other side of 40 across career, life, and love. In each episode, we offer inspiration and insight on aging boldly because, honey, it is good over here. So I am super excited about today's guest. Angel Laketa Moore is an actress, comedian, and host, and you likely follow her like I do at That Chick Angel on Instagram and TikTok. She's also on Patreon and YouTube, and she is clearly leading the pack because this year she was a four-time NAACP Image Award nominee and winner of Social Media Personality of the Year. Angel appeared on the most recent season of A Black Lady sketch show on HBO. She co-hosts the podcast Here's the Thing with our favorite funny guy, Kev on Stage, and hosts the podcast Is This Going to Cause an Argument with her husband, Big Marcus. And together they also recreate viral social media trends, and it is hilarious and joyful to see their attempts under the hashtag Tanksleys Tried It. Angel holds a special place in our hearts here at Honey Child as she was the star of our award-winning short film, Look Back at It, where she kicked butt as Lanae. She was so fantastic, so wonderful, and so funny. But what's so funny about the whole thing is that you actually were not going to take the role. Like, let's talk about how it came together, how Look Back at It came together, how we were able to finally get a chance to work together.
Oh my goodness. So it was so crazy. At the time I think I was in my second installment, I would say, with my therapist and life coach, because I would do 6 months, I think, at a time. Mm-hmm. And somebody had reached out to my agent. And
Regina Hoyles, our producer.
Correct. And it was like, they were like, somebody wants you to do their short film. They emailed us. Now, people email me directly all the time about, ooh, I want you to do this film I'm writing, da-da-da-da-da. So the fact that she went through my people made me go, okay.
This might be legit.
Yeah, this might be. I said, all right.
Yeah.
And then I had just talked to my therapist right before you and I were supposed to meet. And because actually at that time, there were different projects coming to me, but my time was being spread so thin. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, what type of things do you want to work on? She was like, make your list, because I'm a rule follower. She said, make your rules then.
I love that.
She was like, that'll help you make your decisions, because rules help you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
She was like, so what are some of your rules? I said, I want to be in roles that I don't normally get considered for. I said, I want to be able to use my strengths that I usually don't get to use.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to be able to work with people that I admire and that I feel like can sharpen me as an artist. And she was like, okay, well, if those are your rules.
Those are the rules.
Then there you go. So I was like, okay, well, let me look at this material. And so I'm looking at the material that Regina had sent over. She did such a great job of packaging this stuff. I'm telling you, the mood board was just gorgeous. The script was obviously just so funny. And then I started looking up you, and I was like, who is this Powerhouse? I was like, wait a second. I was like, it was like truly exactly the description of what I wanted. I was like, I love that as someone who's born in Baltimore and has family and roots in Baltimore.
Yeah, shout out to Baltimore, 2 Baltimore girls, honey.
Period. I love it. I just love that it was telling a different story from Baltimore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same old, the corner, the wire. It's just like, okay, we know there's drugs there. What else is in Baltimore other than that?
Yes.
And I just thought it was so beautifully written. And then I realized, like, oh no, the woman who wrote this, she's a master at this.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. A master. I'm about to put that on my business cards, honey.
So when I talked with you and met with you and just got your vibe and your energy, I just felt so honored that I was being considered. Like, I was just like, what? like, they really gonna consider me for the short film? I'm so excited.
And I have to give it up to Regina. Regina was like, I think Angel would be perfect. And we were initially thinking about you for another role.
Correct.
And then I called you and I said, I think you need to be our Lanae. I think you need to be our star. I think you need to anchor this. You just have the energy, the feel, the humor, but also the heart that we were looking for. And you were like, yes. And I'm like, thank God. She said yes.
Well, because when I was reading the script, I was reading my brain, like when I read scripts, I plug myself into a place. Even though I'm paying attention to everything, I'm looking at it through the lens of a certain character. I was accidentally looking at it through the lens of Lanae.
Oh, I love that.
And so when you were like, so we're looking at you for her best friend, I was like, oh, girl, you better go back and read it again. Pay attention to it the correct way. So then when you came back to me, I was like, this was always meant to be.
It was. And what I love about that is I've been recently like really tapping into being like a creator, a co-creator with God of like my life.
Yes.
And it sounds like you were completely tapped into that.
That is quite literally, the fact that you said that, that is what me and my therapist call it.
Yes.
It is, she's always like, with me writing my own rules, with me writing the script to my life. She was like, and she knows that I'm a very spiritual woman, and I pray and I wait for God to actually download what I'm supposed to do. She was like, you two are the co-authors of this. Because I do believe that my actions do determine a lot of the things that happens in life, while also there are situations, scenarios that he sets up for me to walk into.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And you walked into that, honey, head held high, you was ready, and just like really inspired me as an artist. So I want to talk about your journey a little bit, because you've been at this for you have put in the work. You've put in the time and the work. So talk about, you know, we've talked about a little bit, but your journey, you were very clear, I'm going to come to LA and I'm going to be a star. Can you talk a little bit about like that declaration and how you've been able to manifest that in your life?
You know what? This started in Baltimore. As a 5-year-old girl.
That's where it starts. That's where it all begins.
Where it all begins. In a row house, okay?
Yes.
I was watching The Cosby Show, and I was looking at Keisha, who played Rudy, and I was like, oh, no, that's what I want to do.
Wasn't she everybody? Like, I feel like Keisha was like all of us at that age.
Yes.
Like, you saw yourself in Rudy so much.
I mean, it was crazy seeing this brown girl. Just like, I was like, this, you represent me. And not only that, you're showing me something that I don't know if I knew really. Like, I remember, even though the Good Times actually aired before I was born, seeing episodes, Janet Jackson wasn't who I wasn't tapping into Penny the way I was tapping in to Rudy. I was like, this is what I want to do. That path did not change at all for me. At all. At one point in time, I thought about majoring in something else in college, just as like kind of like a fallback. But like, I knew this is the path I'm supposed to be on. I'm going to be an actress. So I graduated from undergrad, and I was still in Kentucky, and I knew I will not die here. This is what I'm not going to do, because my family had moved to Kentucky when I was younger. And I was like, my mother was like, you remember when you were younger, you used to always say you're going to move to California. You're going to move to California. So on a whim, I decided to audition for grad school so I can get my master's in acting, because I had went to New York and did the New York Fringe Festival. Okay. And I got to work with seasoned actors. Yeah. And I was like, I noticed a difference between what I can do and what y'all can do, and I want to be able to do.
So I need to close the gap.
Correct. Yeah. I was like, sometimes I can rise to the occasion of where y'all are, but I can't consistently. Yeah. I want to be able to, on my worst day, still give what I'm supposed to give. Yes. And so I was like, I need to go to grad school, because I don't have enough training. I'm very much so like, I don't want to show up saying I can do something if I can't do it.
We are kindred spirits, honey. We are kindred spirits. Like, I need all. I'm still in classes.
Correct.
Honey.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
I love a good class.
Yes.
So, lo and behold, really wasn't even as prepared as I should have been for the graduate school auditions. Got into UC Irvine.
Amazing.
I don't know how. The man was like, I didn't even have a real callback. They called me back. He said, I know all the schools are looking at you, so I'm not even going to make you do your scenes again. Little did he know, maybe 3 schools were looking at me.
3 is enough.
He was like, listen, we want you at the school, so what do we need to do? I was like, Well, let me think on it.
But that's just still you creating and co-creating and being very clear. That clarity is huge.
It is. It is very much so. So that's what got me out to California to begin with, was I was able to go. It was like a nice soft launch. Even though Irvine is in Orange County, it's only 45 minutes south of LA, so I was able to get acclimated to living out on the West Coast. And then once I got my MFA in acting, I literally started working on television immediately.
Wow.
And started on ER and got to really learn from like veterans, like being able to watch Angela, because Angela Bassett was on the last 2 seasons with I was on there, watching her work, watching all these people that like I respect and seeing like, oh, that's how you're making that look like this.
Yes, the choices that they're making.
Seeing it up close and personal. So again, I was in class. I'm supposed to be saying my lines and I'm looking at you like, okay, what you doing?
What you doing?
Makai Pfeiffer, what you do right
But
now?
you know what I think is so interesting is like, I love class and I love school, but there's something to be said about when you actually do it, right?
Yeah.
Like I always talk about the writer's room. We don't, as writers, learn long-form storytelling until we get into a room. Because we're only writing pilots up until that point. We're not writing episode 7 and tracking a story across 7 episodes or 7 seasons or 18 seasons if you're on ER, right? We're not doing that. So the class often still happens like in the professional sphere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting paid to be in this class right now.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah. It was definitely like because obviously when you're in most graduate programs, you're learning acting for the stage.
Yeah.
Very few times are you getting to experience acting for camera, which is another beast. It's another skill set. Heck, even auditioning is a completely different skill set than when you book the job.
Yeah.
So I started work and I just was like, okay, God, this is where I'm supposed to be. And then once I became pregnant and I was like, nobody's gonna hire me, so what am I gonna do?
Because that was also something that you were clear on. You wanted a family.
Absolutely. I have to sometimes pinch myself and realize that I am living the life I dreamt. I'm living the life that I said I wanted. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, because it's easy to complain about things not being exactly the way or the thing that you're just like, oh, if I had that would just be But I always used to be like, I don't know how I can make this possible, but I want to be an actress, but kind of like a stay-at-home mom. I don't really know how that'll work. And I am quite literally living that on a day-to-day basis. As I told you, right before I came here, I was at a school event as a parent volunteer because I like for my kids to know that I am involved at their school because then the administration treats my kids better.
Yes.
So
But I love that because I think sometimes we are so caught up in the how. But that's not our business.
No,
right?
It's not.
Our business is not the how.
Yeah.
Our business is like, this is what I want, and I'm going to take the aligned action to get it. But the how it comes together, I can't be concerned with that.
Right. No, at some point in time, I know God is going to step up and orchestrate it all. And I realized that while these are my dreams, these dreams were also placed in me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it is a part of my passions. I don't feel like I placed my passions in me. They kind of birthed out of me. So I feel like I have to honor those. I feel like that is a part of why Angel was created, was to birth these passions, was to birth these dreams. So I try not to second guess them. I'm like, if it's here, if it's coming out of me, it's coming out of me because it's supposed to.
Right. Especially if you match the dream with the talent, right? Like I always say, I don't have this God-given talent for nothing.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I love that. So what I'm curious about is what do you love about acting? What is it about acting that lights you up?
It's really not about what I am doing as the character. It is the relationship that I'm establishing with the audience. I love being able to take people on a journey. I love being able to make people feel. This is probably one of the reasons why I ended up doing stand-up for as long as I did. I was a stand-up comedian for about 13 years before I retired. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to do this again.
It's a lot of work.
It is. And I said, I don't love it the way other people do to keep doing it. But
13 years is a
long time. It is. And I finally was like, thank you guys so much. I will not be coming back.
And that is
I will take my final vow. Thank you so much. But I like being able to make people feel things based off of what I'm doing. I like being able to, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I do love being able to be a chameleon. I don't necessarily get to do that often. I did with a Black Lady sketch show, but most of the time for television and film, I'm trying to figure out where me and the character, where we have overlaps.
Yeah.
And then I allow some of their nuances to also pop out. But I do love when I get the opportunity to make myself unrecognizable in my behaviors and my voice and all that. But for the most part, it's about the being able to be a vehicle to take the audience somewhere they were not at.
I love that. Yeah. And I love the priority of audience. Like that is for me as a writer and a filmmaker is so important. Is like I'm very clear that I make for an audience, you know, and that means that I have to show up. That means I have to have a certain level of responsibility because I want to be my best for this audience. So I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if not, because it then becomes kind of masturbatory. While that can be fun for you, I'm not going to always make somebody suffer through, you know, just, oh, I enjoy this. Okay, but you asking people to watch it.
You are asking people for their time.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, I'm like, time is a huge currency.
It is. Yes, it is.
I'm like, cut this movie by 30 minutes.
Ma'am, listen, there have been several plays that I've seen when we get into the second act, and I'm like, who was this for?
Yeah. But who is this for? That is the thing, because you know, Honey Child, we are very specific that we speak to a certain audience, right? That is our target audience, and of course, we're so grateful for others that come in. But the who is there for is so interesting because people are scared to be specific about who they make for.
Yes, I think sometimes when you talk about currency, we feel like, well, the bigger we can make our audience, the more currency we can bring in. But you aren't able to then serve in any audience very well.
Exactly.
You're going to, unfortunately, for the most part, kind of put out something more mediocre than what you could. It's just like me and my husband, we, for the first time, experienced what 5-star service was like. We had never experienced that. And what it is truly is the specificity of a curated experience based off of who we are.
Yes.
And you cannot do that if you're trying to serve everybody.
Well, first of all, I think everybody should have the opportunity to have 5-star experience because it is on a different level. But I love that way that you talk about the specificity because that's where, you know, the universality to me is in the specificity when we talk about storytelling and whatnot, when you can get super specific. Okay, this family may not look like me, but I feel the themes that are coming out here of jealousy. I feel the themes of being feeling like I'm overlooked. Like those themes come out when you have the specificity of it. So I love that. But you are an expert in audience. Let's talk about your relationship with your audience, right? How did you get into becoming a creator and how did you find your voice in that?
Okay, so I became a creator when I was pregnant with my first son, and I thought, nobody's going to hire me. My good friend, Brescia Webb, another Baltimorean.
Yes.
She was just
fantastic actress as well.
Funny girl, as well as got so much dramatic depth as well. She was like, she was around me a lot. We're very close when I was pregnant. She said, the way you talk about pregnancy is not like anybody else. You should really document it and put it out in the world. And I, unlike you, my love, I am not a writer. So I said, I am not putting out no blog. I was like, these people will get 5-word sentences and it would be over. They would get like 2 sentences at most.
But shout out to our friends who recognize gifts and talents and skills and new income streams for us.
Okay, amen and amen. Because truly, it has been a blessing.
Yes.
So I started making videos of like what my pregnancies have been like. Those were what all my first videos
And was it on Instagram? What platform were you on?
YouTube.
Okay.
I don't think Instagram existed yet.
That's what I say. It probably was okay.
Yeah, because this was 2009.
Wow.
Oh, 2008 actually I think I started. And I was just, no, I was 9. And I was, because this is my 15th year of being a content creator.
Wow.
So I was just putting out videos. And then after I had the baby, my husband was like, because he didn't know what the heck, like, abyss I was putting my stuff out in. He was like, I don't want you putting our son online. And I was like, oh, Okay. So then I went into like doing reviews about shows. I was like, what content can I make? Because at this time I was a one-woman show. I'm talking about. I taught myself how to edit.
Wow.
I had to teach myself everything because I knew none of it.
Yeah.
I had to shoot everything. So I was like, oh, I'll just do reviews about different reality TV shows that I love watching. Then I started doing more like comedic stuff, like more sketch stuff. And then I learned about this thing called vlogging, where you just kind of do a day in the life. And people kept being like, you say you have a husband. Where is he? Why is he? Because my husband was like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be on camera.
Now look at him.
Yeah, girl, listen. Now camera come out. He right there. So I began to show him on camera. And what I realized quickly, while my my comedic capabilities are a true asset, and that is what definitely helps me stand out. What really is where my audience kind of like grabs a hold of me is my transparency and my authenticity.
Yes.
Because like you said, while I might be different than a lot of the women that watch me, they can see pieces of themselves.
Absolutely.
And there's something beautiful of it. Automatically creates community because you no longer feel alone.
Yes.
Whether it be in the triumph or in the failure, you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one who went through that.
Yes.
So, and I think it's also just everybody's story is important, and you give validation to your story when you tell it.
Absolutely.
So that is how I kind of became an expert at being, if you call it expert, at audience, is just realizing, paying attention to what was resonating with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so you had a big adventure recently when you went viral for creating a freestyle rap, then turning it into a song. I want to hear the whole journey. I want to hear you and Kev, you're on the podcast.
Okay.
You decided to come up with you're just freestyling because you were rapping in some of your earlier like videos and whatnot back in the day. So I want to hear the whole journey from freestyle to music video.
Okay, so yes, like you said, I've always freestyled. Not great at it, but I love to do it. Like
everybody has that friend though that breaks out into freestyle.
Oh, absolutely. I had a rap name, MC Halo, since I was like 13. Like always.
MC Halo,
MC Halo in the building.
Yes.
I used to rap all the time. I could you typically get the plane to take off, but the plane would crash somewhere in. So I was getting there. I was at our office where we shoot Here's the Thing, and we have a docket, and I was reviewing the docket, and there was a video on there of this woman who's a minister that travels to different colleges and does sermons on celibacy and I guess just being abstinent, okay? And she was doing this sermon about, you know, if you buy a woman one margarita, she'll spread her legs. And she's just screaming, and she'll spread her legs.
The sermon is so specific. You're like,
she's really, her calling should be in comedy because she's hilarious. She knows how to work a crowd. Right. Nobody's business. The stuff that she's saying is very riveting because it's offensive, but also outlandish.
But also like a playbook. Like,
okay. 100%. So she's doing this countdown of like all the terrible things that will happen if you give a woman a margarita. And I was just like, this actually sounds amazing.
Sounds like my Saturday.
Right, exactly. I was like, but listening to it, I was like, this would be better as like a trap song, is quite literally what I thought as I was doing the looking over the docket. And I was like, oh, I should freestyle something. So when we start doing the show, like I could hear like what it should sound like in my head. And I was like, Kevin, give me a beat. And he was like, give you a beat.
We about to do this?
Because the thing is, me and Kevin break out the song all the time. Yeah. So he knew that like something was going to happen, but he didn't know what. And the fact that the plane took off and I landed the plane very smoothly, I was like, okay, bitch, you did that.
MC Halo.
MC Halo showed up. And usually MC Halo, like when I got older, she used to have some shots first. But this time I was like, I'm fully sober.
She was clear.
Yes, very much so. So because I know social media well enough, I was like, let me clip this, put it online. Someone will put a beat behind it.
Yeah.
Like I already know.
Yeah.
So 2 young men, Carl Dixon, a.k.a. Casa D, and Steve Terrell, they worked together as producers. They put a dope beat behind it, and they could hear my cadence well, because in my head I was like, this is kind of like a New Orleans bounce. And so that's what they put underneath it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And so it was just getting bigger and bigger, and they hit me up and they were like, hey, what do you think about turning this into a song?
Did you have a dream at one point to do a rap song, a whole song?
Girl, I used to be in R&B singing groups, girl. What are you talking about?
So you were like immediately yes.
No, actually, no, I wasn't at first. I had to pray on it, but I prayed before I actually talked to them, because I did not want to be taken advantage of. And there are people, the one thing about acting is that there are guardrails because of our unions.
Yeah.
The music industry, there are no guardrails.
It's so true.
Okay, anything goes. And there have been multiple times where I've been really close to that being the lane that I went into. And I think God protected me, because I would be out here, one of these people with these stories that TMZ or the Shade Room is having to break. Angel finally tell all of the things that they tried to make her do. All this stuff. So I was just like, okay, Lord, I don't want to be taken advantage of, but because actually they DM'd me, we would like to turn this into a song. What would you think? I went ahead and wrote the rest of the song.
Wow.
It took me maybe like 15, 20 minutes to write.
Now you're just showing off.
Girl, listen now, I might not be able to write a story
but I'm
that way,
a writer.
But my pen is sick with it, okay? So
I love that. But it flowed out. It was
it was so easy. I had a good pun in there. I was like, oh, this is fire. So we talked, and their energy was so nice. Like, I wasn't sure. I was like, oh my God, is this about to be some 2 grimy ass dudes?
Right.
They were just like, hey, so you know, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like, this is energy that I can deal with. And then we did the song, we put it out, and luckily with their knowledge and know-how with the music industry, I would not have known how to get it up on Apple Music or Spotify.
Because, I mean, what I loved is like, when our moment comes, will we be ready? And you were ready. The way that you and the team capitalized upon that moment was just so inspiring to watch, but also like a playbook. Y'all were up and ready fast.
No, we were not playing. They made the beat fast. I recorded it on this exact same mic in my room. I have mics like this in my room, and recorded my stuff. They mixed it, and then record labels were calling left and right. I think we probably took like 17 meetings.
Wow.
A lot of foreign ones. A lot of, they're calling us from Paris, and they're like, we would like to talk to you about sending. And
you better be global, honey. Yes.
But we end up signing with something, a label here, Giant Music, and they were like, they had a really strong plan. They were like, we want to do a remix with like either Frida or maybe Saucy Santana.
Which happened.
Yes. And Saucy, when I talk about somebody writing fast, he was like, we got on the phone. He was like, hey, Miss Margarita lady.
I love it.
I was like, hey, well, how are you? And he was like, I love the song. He's like, that's the type of energy we on this summer. It's just having margaritas. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I would love to do it. And so he had his verse in by the next day.
Wow.
We flew him out. I was actually on vacation. We flew back in, shot it. They were like, Cindy Crawford.
I was going to say, was it Cindy Crawford? See, how did that come about?
So the record label, what they're good for is they know how to find money for marketing, and they know how to put money in marketing. So when somebody at the record label knew one of the owners of Casamigos, her husband is one of the owners.
Co-owners.
And they were like, so Cindy, she wants to do the video. And I was like, Cindy Crawford? Cindy Crawford?
Right. Like, that moment when you push her out the way. These to go down in history, honey. These to go down.
I was so nervous.
Did you think in acting school you were going to have the opportunity?
Absolutely not. That's the vision that I did not have. I did not have the vision of basically T-boning this woman off of a bar. And she kept, because I was doing it light. I was like, and she was like, no, Angel, I really need you to knock me over. And I said, if y'all let me hurt Cindy Crawford, I'm fighting everybody up in here.
Oh my gosh, what an experience. I love that so much.
Thank you.
I love that so much.
It was insane. My sister, who was with my sister right above me in age, she was beside me through the whole process. She's a judge. So anytime I had anything to sign, I was like, we're both going to read it together. And you can make sure I'm not signing away my life.
Right.
Every time something else would happen, she'd be like, what is your life? What is this?
Like even most recently with Maxwell singing it on his tiny desk, honey.
Girl, it just does not stop.
Yes.
I was just like Maxwell, Maya Rudolph singing it.
Yes.
I was at a club in Vegas this past weekend. Just as a regular patron. I don't have no seats. I'm in the outside just dancing. It's this club called Dre's. And they had pissed me off. They threw away my hand sanitizer. I was so ready to leave. I didn't
like,
even want to go in.
I can't get another one. I hate that. You're like, this is the one I like, though.
Yes. And it was like, these are the good ones that smell good. Your hands won't be sticky.
The size I like.
So there's like thousands of people in there. And we're just dancing. Then all of a sudden I heard, dun, dun, give me a Rita. Like, to know that in clubs in Vegas, and one of the guys who managed it, one of my homegirls ran into him. He was like, oh, yeah, we play that every night.
I love that so much.
I said, it's a part of
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So what's next on your music journey?
I'm writing an EP right now that we're going to release at the end of the year.
Amazing. And you just came out with a new single, too.
Yes, I just want to shake my something. I just really, when we talk about being a honey.
Yes.
I really wanted to write music from that perspective.
And that's what we love. We love that. Because it's like, we like to party, but also we tired.
Yes, we are tired. And these are the things, like, I love the rap girlies that are out right now. Can I relate to everything they're saying? Absolutely not. Yeah. I'm not scamming no dudes. I'm not.
I wish I had in my 20s. I was like, I wish I had this playbook, but now I'm too old.
Yeah, I'm too old. I got these kids at home, girl. I just came from PCA meeting. What are we talking about? But I just wanted to write something from that perspective.
I love that.
Hopefully from my EP, I'm planning on writing a one-woman show that threads the music through.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. But I love just like how this moment where you went for it on the podcast has spun so much opportunity for you.
Yes, me too. I said once when I was nervous about those guys and I was like, I don't know if they're going to scam me, the agreement that I made with God right then is I said, any door you open, I will walk through. I don't care how scared I am.
Yeah.
If you open it, I'm going through. So if you don't want me to go through, please shut that thing so fast.
Shut it. And don't open it. Because sometimes we try to open it again when the door's been shut. He's like, I shut the door for a reason.
Right. Yeah. So.
I love that. So I think one of the things that people are probably curious about, including myself, how do you do all this? And you got 4 boys. You're a wife. Like, how do you manage all of this?
Very messily. Truly. I spoke at a women's group, like, it was during the pandemic, because I remember it was over Zoom. And I was like, sometimes we have to realize that the blessing is sometimes inside of the mess. There's like a scripture where they talk about, God blessing you so much that your cup overflows. If a cup is overflowing, there is messiness.
Let me tell you, every interview is like therapy for me, okay? I am in the mess right now because it's flowing and it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Okay. And I had to get to the point of realizing, like, it's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay because that when you're in an abundance, in a place of abundance, that typically means you don't actually have enough room for all the things that you have, right? So I had to surrender to that. And then sometimes that surrender is irritating because my house, it looks a mess.
But you gotta let go.
And I'm just like, my husband's like, can we not let this one go? Can we let something else be messy? So messily, I am still the last place that I left off in therapy, and I said I'm not gonna re-up until I fix this because I don't want her to be like, you still ain't.
You still on that? I thought that was last year.
Yeah, is setting up systems. Being that I have been, like I said, when I started my content creating career, I was a one-woman show that no longer serves me.
Yes.
So I know I need to set up systems and have people in place so that I'm taking as much of advantage of all the opportunities that have been placed before me and that I'm being as efficient as possible. But I feel like any woman that is doing the balancing act of being an involved parent and trying to be a beast in her career, there is going to be, I just feel like there is going to be messiness. Even, I don't care how many millions of dollars, or if you're darn near a billionaire or a billionaire like Beyonce, there's going to be some like, but I'm okay with it. There are certain things that I still want to fix. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm going to make it fast.
Yeah.
I was watching Beyonce on tour, and when Blue Ivy came out, every time I would see it on social media and when I would see it in person, it would make me tear up. Not so much for Blue Ivy, even though I love seeing kids perform. It just does something for my heart. But I'm watching this moment where I'm watching Beyonce do two things at the same time very well. She's being a megastar and being a performer at the top of her game. Yes. And she's also being a very attentive mother at the same time. Yes. And for me, that is like what I want to be able to do. That's the pinnacle. Yes. To be able to do them at the same time. And the thing that my therapist said is that, see, you're finding out what a lot of people find out later on in life, is that balance is not about compartmentalizing, but it's about the collaborative, like trying to thread more things into together. Yes. So me being a content creator has allowed me to thread my life as a mother and a wife into my life as a creator. Yes. So that is also, I'm constantly looking for those opportunities of when can I bring along my family, my friends into this creative life that I've, created, so that I don't feel like I'm, I guess, neglecting one for the other.
I love that, because I think sometimes the expectation is that they're supposed to be separate, right? Like that you're not supposed to bring the family into the art as artists. Speaking of which, you and Marcus, your husband, you have a podcast together. Correct. What is it like creating together? How did you finally get him on camera?
You know what? We've had that podcast for a long time, for about 7 years, and it's been a fight. It's called Is This Going to Cause an Argument? Yes. And it does. It does. Because it's hard for me sometimes to honor the place in which he comes from, which is not even though my husband is a creative in a different way, I have to realize that this is not what he had signed up for. Right. My husband was an electrician. Okay. Right, so he's like, you want me on camera, you want me talking, you want me to do all these things, and sometimes I don't feel like it. Where me as an actress, I'm like, no, there's always a switch I can flip. Right. I could be sick as a dog. Flip the switch, and I bet you I'll give you whatever it is that you need me to do. And he's like, ain't no switch back there. No switch. I did not install one, so there is no switch. Right. That it was a struggle. Sometimes it's still a struggle, but what it is ours, and that is what I think we both love about it. Yeah. Is that it's a way that, we've created kids and we've created a home, but we've created a business with each other that we are learning, how to communicate with each other in that business. Because I was like, dang, we got a whole nother level of communication that we have to figure out. Yeah. Because I was like, I got the wife part down. Right. I know how to communicate to my husband as his wife in order for him to receive what I'm saying and in order to not offend him ever purposefully. But now I got to figure out how to talk to you as as co-workers, and then also as your mentor, because I've been doing this longer, and there are certain questions you have that I'm the easiest person to answer. So it's like on these other layers. So I'm like, how do I talk to you as a mentor to let you know don't do it that way, but not feel like your wife is right. You know what I'm saying? So it is constant learning curve, and I'm so glad I get to do this with him. I'm so glad my sons are watching us do this together too. And
the fact that you guys were recognized with the NAACP nomination for the podcast. Talk about that moment of, because we reposted your video when you were, first of all, I loved all your videos around your nominations. Thank you. When you were kind of like just the joy that you were experiencing, you kind of let us in that moment. Just talk about the 4 noms, that journey, and then winning Social Media Personality of the Year.
Oh my goodness, today. I was mad how I found out about Social Media Influencer because Kevin texted it to me in the group, and I didn't get to see it. Well, because unfortunately the NAACP Image Awards, their social media was not working correctly because we were supposed to be able to see it. And so I didn't know who was getting nominated, but I was like, I want to be able to see it. And they put it on their website before they put it on their social media. Kevin went onto their website, saw it, screenshot it, and sent it to me. And I was like, I wanted the moment. I want a moment. And then, so more text messages were coming in, and my husband was like, "Oh, Here's the Thing" was nominated. I was like, "Oh, wow!" I was like, "I'm not surprised. We have a really strong podcast, strong audience." And so as I am driving, and I had submitted me and my husband's podcast, and I was just like, "Well, next year we'll try again." And then I realized, oh, we would be in a different category. So I said, let me go to that category and see. And I'm swiping. I see Michelle. I see Honey Child.
Yes.
I see Black Tree.
Yes.
And then I see, is this going to cause an argument? And I literally almost got in a car accident. I jerked my car. I was like, ah! I mean, I lost my mind because this has been a labor. We've been doing it for 7 years. I think this is 8 years. This will make 8 years at the end of this year. And I was just like, wow, we're being nominated with, and as he said, with Michelle Obama.
With Michelle Obama. So we were nominated in the same category for self-help. Yes. So Child Please, and Is This Going to Cause an Argument? We didn't lose to Miss Michelle, though.
No, we didn't. We lost to Black Money Tree.
Yes, we did. We didn't
lose
to Miss.
We did.
I was like, oh, Michelle got this. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, if not Michelle, Laverne,
right? Laverne Cox was in there too.
Yes.
But what a blessing and what a joy it was.
Yes, it was. It was truly. And then a Black Lady Sketch Show was nominated for Outstanding Sketch, and I didn't realize that either. So when I saw the 4 nominations, I was just like, I don't do my craft for the accolades. Yeah. Like I trust that, like, I trust when my audience tells me things, and more so I trust when, like, I feel like the alignment that I have with God. But it's nice.
It feels good, honey.
It's nice. I ain't gonna say I didn't like it.
Good. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Especially, for us, it was just so validating for it to be media that we created independently.
Yes.
So to be in a category with a Michelle Obama and a Laverne Cox who have these big companies behind them.
Correct.
And we out here independently making work, it was just that was like the real feeling for me, for sure.
Truly. I was just like, this is from our brain.
Yes.
This was truly our baby that we birthed, that we raised, and an organization like the NAACP was like, we see you, and we love what you did. So it was, I took home 3 of the 4 wins, the category that me and Marcus were in. We obviously didn't win. But social media personality of the year, that was the one that I said I will fight like a big
And you were posting, you had all the content. The content for the voting.
Because I was up against Titans. These people, my following is dwarfed by their following.
Yeah.
Drewski, you have Lanae Vinny, who I just admire so much. Terrell, who's also an OG content creator. And then Keith Lee, who is like a mega creator right now. And his work has helped so many, when I think about how many restaurants he has actually pulled out of debt, allowed them to actually have a fighting chance. Yeah. I'm like, these people, and here I am over in a unitard with my husband doing...
I can't get enough of these challenges y'all do.
Thank you.
I can't get enough. It brings so much joy.
Yes.
It brings so much joy. So to kind of like wrap up this wonderful conversation, what are you looking forward to next in your career?
Oh my goodness, today. What am I looking forward to next? It's hopefully, it's not so much milestones, even though I feel like I have more milestones to hit. It is getting the systems in place.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, yes. I really want to feel like I was telling another young woman who is a content creator. Her name is Maddie James.
Oh, yes.
And I was just like, I said, I wanted you to know I admire how you run your business. It just looks like a well-oiled machine. She was like, girl, no, it's not. I said, no. Mine is duct taped again. Okay, I want you to know it's duct taped. We've got children holding things. It's just, and I was like, and
little child boom operator.
And sometimes I want to be like, this can't be. I'm like, Walmart is not doing this. Target is not holding together stuff with duct tape. Why am I holding?
But it's so funny because I realize I feel the same way about But I've also realized then you get a peek into other folks, and we have to give ourselves grace because we actually, I think a lot of times, of course, we're much more harder on ourselves. But when it comes to the business aspect of things, I think I'm like, oh, I'm not doing enough or it's not organized enough. And other people's businesses. So I think that we definitely have to show up. I'm right there with you with the systems, but I'm like, we're doing better than I think.
I mean, listen, I mean, the fact that the business is up and running.
It's up and running.
I will give myself that, but I'm just like, I'm still young. I mean, I'm a honey, but I'm young.
Yes, honey.
But I do want to make sure that, like, when I am closer to my 60s, that this is a business that can run smoothly and I'm not having to put out. I have the energy now.
And run without you. The sustainability of it, yes.
I would love for my business to be left as a legacy to one of my sons. Actually, my sons, 2 of them I know at least would love to be content creators.
I love that.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, the infrastructure of this business, I know I can leave you, but I'm like, I want it to be solid so that like you can easily plug and play whatever your passions are into it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So we're going to go into our segment called Pleasure Principle. And 2 of our words at Honey Child, our favorite words, are desire and pleasure. And we define them very expansively. Anything that you want and anything that makes us feel good. So how do you practice self-compassion?
Oh, self-compassion, I think, comes from being very introspective and reflective. Why is this something that you want, and why is it something that you feel like you haven't been able to obtain?
Yeah.
And understanding, like, I have to go through, I guess, a process like anybody else. My process might look different. And I think if I can honor that this is my process, then there's less judgment that I have on myself. But I feel like I'm very, like, I'm constantly thinking about the reasons behind certain actions of mine. So that helps
the
me.
whys. Yes, I love that. What does pleasure seeking look like to you?
Pleasure seeking. You know what? I always said, my purpose, not always, but since I really tapped into what my purpose is to bring joy. And so I think that also is a part of my desire is to be intoxicated with joy.
Oh, okay. We love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Intoxicated with joy.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little tipsy with joy. I would love to be intoxicated.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And have you noticed your desires changing as you've been a honey?
Yes, it is really focused. Like, I think sometimes I might have been like, oh, I want money because money will give me the other things that will give me joy. Now I'm just like, no, if I can just get to the joy.
Just go straight to it.
Yeah.
Cut out the middle stuff. Yeah.
Let me get right to it. Unfortunately, I think the longer we're here on earth, the more we realize life is so fragile.
So fragile.
So I really am just intentional about get to the joy as quickly as possible. I understand joy is not really present without some pain, but when I tell you I ain't gonna sit in that pain long.
Yes,
I'm gonna be like, where's the joy at?
Where's the joy? I love that. Well, the name of our show is called It's Good Over Here. So tell us what's something that is getting better for you right now as a honey.
Ooh, my God, today. So many things. I always say, like, we were talking, I was just on a motherhood retreat. I started with 4 other women, a chapter of Mocha Moms in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, love that.
And it's a support group for Black women, Black mothers. And we went from 5 to, like, we have like 200 members.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we were just in Vegas celebrating our 10 years.
Yes.
And somebody was like, I feel like I'm 27. That's what she said. I said, I don't feel like I'm 27.
I definitely don't feel 27.
I said, and also, I don't want to feel like I'm 27. I said, because this 44-year-old woman is a baddie.
Let me tell you, that's why I just feel like I'm getting better and better
That's
the
answer, is that it's me better over here. Yes. I was like, 27-year-old, she was cute, like she was trying.
She was trying, but she was a mess, honey.
Yes. I said, this one over here, I'm so assured of myself. Yes. I know when I'm the expert.
Yes.
And I don't have to shy away from that.
Yes.
And I did not have that, definitely not in my 30s. But
can we talk, just really quickly, for me, I always say that my 30s was even more messy than my 20s because my 20s, I was allowing myself to be a mess. In my 30s, I was a mess, but was hating myself because I was a mess.
Girl,
all the pressure that I was like, I need to have myself together versus giving myself grace and actually being honest about what I wanted and who I was. The 30s were, oof.
I was so sad leaving my 20s to my 30s. When I was, my last day of being 29, I was just like, okay, 30s, here we come. When I was at 39, I said, 40, please get over here.
Over here. It almost was like a light switch for me. 40, I was like, oh, I'm a new person. Like, it just was so good.
It has been the best. I mean, it's not the full decade. I'm only 44, but this is so far been the best decade of my life.
Yes. I heard the 50s are amazing.
That's why I said now, that's why I kept telling somebody, I said, now, if y'all tell me the 50s are lit, I said, girl, you don't even have no idea.
You have no idea. Act up. What do you swear by as a honey? It could be beauty, health, rituals, routines. What's something you swear by?
I swear by baths.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I know some people are like, bath, that's sitting your filth. Whatever you want to call it.
I love a bath.
I feel like, especially as a Black woman, there is something about our relationship as Black people with water.
Yes.
That should not be ignored. It's not just a cleanser, but it does purify the spirit. It is something just so relaxing in it. So I have a bath at least once a week.
I love that. Yes. I feel like I haven't had a bath in a long time, so now I'm gonna hook that up.
And then get all the little cute little things.
Get all the things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I luxuriate in it.
I love it. And lastly, what would you tell your younger self?
I jokingly always say, stop eating all them damn carbs. Let them go, girl. They are doing you no good. I would probably tell my 27-year-old, you are doing a great job.
Oh, I love that.
I would say that. I would be like, you are really, you might be doing some dumb stuff, but you are the foundation of what's setting me up to live the wonderful life I'm living now.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, we want to thank you so much. This has been amazing. I love hearing about your career and your life and your journey. It's been so amazing.
Thank you.
It was so amazing working with you on Look Back at It, which you can watch on YouTube. We're going to make sure we put the link in the notes. But it's been such a pleasure. And I'm just excited for you, honey. Like, I know there's just so much more to come. So I'm super, super excited for you. Where can the people find you? Where can they find you?
Everywhere. Okay, I done started back up Snapchat. So God help me, Lord. I said, oh my God, another platform I gotta be on. But that's for more like day-to-day, behind-the-scenes type of stuff. I do a lot of the challenges, like you said, with my husband on both Instagram and TikTok at That Chick Angel and That Chick Angel TV. YouTube, you can find me and my husband's podcast along with vlogs with our family at That Chick Angel TV. And that's about, because I don't be over there on X, Twitter, whatever it's called.
Well, thank you so much, Angel. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Felicia.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of It's Good Over Here, a celebration of how good life can get on the other side of 40. This podcast is a Honey Child thing, so don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Threads and TikTok at It's Honey Child. Visit our website, honey-child.com, and subscribe to our bi-weekly newsletter, A Taste of Honey. And for bonus content and other exclusive Honey Dip stories, subscribe to our Patreon, which is Pay What You Wish, and join the Honeycomb. See you next time, honeys.